News Central now this hour begins in Nigeria, where the Nigeria Labour Congress has called on President Bola Tinubu to dialogue with leaders of an upcoming nationwide protest that aims to address the severe hardships faced by citizens. In a statement by NLC President Joe Ajaero, the union highlighted the urgency of the situation, with inflating soaring to 34.19% and food and electricity prices skyrocketing. Now, Ajaero emphasized the necessity for the president to engage with the protesters and address their grievances. He also condemned the dismissal of Nigerians suffering as merely politically motivated dissent, saying that citizens demand a government that listens and empathizes. Now, as the date for the protest approaches, the NLC's call underscores the need for dialogue and responsive leadership. And now joining us to discuss this is a public affairs analyst, Theophilus Akatugba. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you join us as well. So I guess I'm going to start off by asking, how effective do you think that the president, that is Bola Tinubu's dialogue with the leaders of the upcoming nationwide protest, will be in addressing the severeness of the hardships that Nigerians are facing?
Well, a dialogue will not necessarily address the severe situation Nigerians are confronted with. A dialogue will only will only promote an atmosphere of understanding. And understanding does not mean our conditions will change. The protest is viable to the extent of expressing how we feel, but it does not and has never immediately provided any solution anywhere in the world. And when your society is in a very delicate state, you know that protests in Nigeria are not genuine.
Yeah.
What will happen is that they will target institutions that they believe they have angst against. They will target ShopRite. They will target stores. Not the protesters, but those who are evil-minded, who are looking for a vibe. So it's a delicate time. So conversation with leaders of protest will provide an atmosphere of understanding. But what I'm asking, who are the leaders, really? Because when you send the government on a wild goose chase, who are now the identified leaders?
Right.
Has the NLC identified them? Are they part of the NLC? Are they part of a movement of young people? Are they some political group? Who are the organizers of the protest?
Also, so we see that this protest erupted from the fact that inflation rate has risen to 34.19%, which has driven the price of food and electricity up. Are there specific measures that can be taken to alleviate the inflation rate?
Well, there are always measures, but every measure that the government intends to take has a consequence. Either a disadvantageous consequence or advantageous. Most times, it has both consequences with it. Just imagine that we roll back the fuel subsidy removal, which is part of the request. It takes us back, and every effort and the suffering we've gone through is wished away, and the economy gets back into a strangulated way, and we will go back to the debate. We have started the journey. This is a debate that I was telling the media. I said, do you understand the implication of fuel subsidy removal? It was a slogan. Everybody was enamored. They removed the subsidy, even the media, the political leaders, including the politicians, all of them promised to remove the subsidy. But they didn't tell the people that it's going to be a tough journey. And we have not even started. And so this protest is good, but my question, is it expedient? Is it not too delicate? We've just started the journey of fuel subsidy for 1 year plus. We have to go a further distance to get the full benefit. If you don't, you will abort it. We will do the protest, and then we will all come back to square one. And then even if the government is ended with the protest, whoever is going to come will still give you an excuse that is just coming in. You need to grapple with the situation.
Right.
So it's a very delicate time. The government needs to do things, but we can't roll back the reforms. If you do so, what's the option? Begin to pay the subsidy? Begin to do what? And get the naira back into where you can fix it by government, and we are back to square one, where the difference between the exchange rate is this and bankers are catching out. We can't go back to such wasted years of Nigerian life. Yeah. But the protest is valid if they can make it peaceful. But can we guarantee that?
So we understand that the protest has been dismissed as politically motivated, as a politically motivated dissent. How do you think this will affect the relationship between the government and the citizens and the Labour Congress as well?
The government is in a difficult place. That reaction to me was not necessary. There's no need to say, because politicians will always take advantage of an opposing view.
Yes.
And if the citizens are not yet matured enough to know and they get carried away, you must know who is speaking. If he's a politician, give it to him that he cannot praise the government in power. And that if you want to do your protest because of inflation and your hardship, you are giving him an ammunition to shoot the person in power. And so whatever you are doing, it might even give you food. Please carry on, I need you. He needs you to vote him in, and he will do the same thing. I give you an example. In Kenya, President Ruto was contesting against the former president. He was vice president. And this Kenyatta decided to support Raila Odinga, who has been his arch rival. The nation fight behind Ruto, that Ruto must win. When Ruto won, there was jubilation. What has happened now? They have all gone on the streets to fight Ruto, and people have died. Ruto want to put more burden on the people. The same people that, politics and democracy allows for dissent, people to be on this side, but don't let your people, don't let the politician use you to achieve the same goal. Because he will still come to power and do the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned Kenya, because I was going to use Kenya as an example, right? Not exactly the Ruto and Kenyatta story, but speaking of responsive leadership and meaningful dialogue with the citizens, I think that that's one major thing that Nigeria still doesn't have. We still lack the concept of accountability and proper dialogue. In Kenya, for example, there was a protest, although we can argue that the hands of the government was forced in some way, but we still saw a little bit of dialogue. The president even organized dialogue on one of the social media applications. That's something that is very rare to see on this part of the world, where the president is surrounded by a lot of special advisors and PAs that would block him from even having a one-on-one conversation with the people.
That has been the culture, but you can see that this particular president is acting differently. Nigerians must give it to him. He was personally negotiating with the labor union for labor to begin to have a soft tone is because they spoke face-to-face with the president. The president did not use mediators. He went to the matter. The president has been responsive. He's been doing so many things. What I tell you, the government has good plans, but the officials of government are failing. I just saw a video of somebody who was frustrated by the quality of rice that was shared. The president signed that give rice. The rice, the silos or wherever they keep those rice are full of shaft and gravel. Who put it there? Who are those who share the rice and the rice ends up in the marketplace? We have what you call a network of evil men and women and corrupt ones who are in the corridors of government and corridors of government services. The immigration officer who takes money to make passport for you and frustrate the process is a Nigerian. The custom officer who allows smuggled goods into Nigeria, including arms, is a Nigerian. We keep looking at the government as if it's alien to us. Our brothers and sisters are part of government. When they gave the 20,000 bag trucks, tell me, they will end up in the toilets and the storehouses of government officials and political foot soldiers. This is what frustrates the Nigerian person. And who frustrates him? His very brothers. Not only because the president has signed, the student loan have been approved. Students are about to access the loan. These are points that you see government is trying, but it's not just enough. 200 million people? This country is terribly poor.
Right. Okay, public affairs analyst Theophilus Akatugba, thank you so much for joining us to discuss the state of the nation. And we're hoping that things get better subsequently.
Absolutely, but it takes a lot of time to make a nation better. And protest is good, but we must keep it peaceful.
In moderation. Yeah. Thank you so much.